Hello, welcome to another Eagle 6 video. This is the disassembly of the Tokyo Marui FN5-7 gas blowback pistol top slide. First, we're going to start with removing the outer barrel assembly and hop unit. The best way to do this is first to move it forward, and we're going to remove this small O-ring here off the outer barrel. Just use your nail, just get underneath it and prise it up. Like so. Just place it to one side. Next, what we're going to do is just slide the hop unit here off the cylinder, and then just lift it out. There's a guide here as well, which goes on the front there, like so. So again, we'll take this spring off, place it to the side, and put the smoother guide over there as well. So we'll just disassemble the hop unit. The hop unit is 2 small Phillips screws, then the top half of the hop unit can just lift off. Okay. So we'll place that top half over there to one side. Then we can remove the actual hop arm. And the outer barrel sleeve. That's the inner barrel there, and the hop rubber. The inner barrel and the hop rubber you can't install the wrong way around, because there's a line inside the hop rubber here which goes on the line here on the inner barrel, and then there's a guide on the actual hop rubber itself, so that it only goes in one way. So we'll place that to one side, and then we have the adjustment dial or wheel, and underneath that is a small O-ring. Okay, so we'll place that to one side, and it's the last piece of the hop unit. So next, what we're going to do is remove the blowback unit from the slide here, and the best way we can do that is we'll start off by removing this securing screw, which is Phillips screwdriver. To one side. Then what we'll do is we're going to remove this small piece here on the slide, and then there's 2 screws here. They're going to be very small Phillips or electrical screwdriver, that kind of size, small, very small. Make sure you get the right tool. lift that out. So what we'll do next is remove this rear sight, get that out of the way, and the best way to do that is with a small pin punch. If you remove this for the first time, it can be very, very stiff. It gets slightly easier over time, but the front of this slide goes underneath as like a notch, and then there's a small guide that goes in this side, and the problem is when you try and lift up, you can't lift up that side, you can't lift up that side because it catches, and the best way is, quite frankly, just to hit it. So we'll place this on our foam block. A bit smaller than that, I think. Something like that. I'm going to make sure that it's small enough to go through the threads. You don't want to obviously damage the threads. Like so. You see the catch that I was telling you about, and this part here, you can just see a slight mark on there where it catches, and if you're trying to prise this off, prising it off, all you're going to do is damage this very sensitive top slide here, because it's like a soft plastic. So obviously the best way to do it is literally just to get right inside there, because obviously any marks that are deep inside that, no one knows. So we'll place that to the side. So the next bit, what we're going to do is remove the actual blowback chassis here and the cylinder assembly. The best way we're going to do is a slightly larger pin punch, if we can find one. Let's try that. There we go. So it's bigger than the actual hole, but small enough to go inside this larger recess. So we just want to put on the edges. Rinse that out. So that there, if you struggle with getting this out, or it only comes out like a little bit on this side, then what you can do is over here, this end, one that worked was you can just slide a screwdriver here and then prise up from that direction. So do a small bit that side, small bit this side, small bit this side, small bit this side, yeah, so until eventually it works out. Because there's very little on this to try and open this up and prise it out. That's, as you can see, it's the quickest method I've found for doing that. We might as well carry on disassembling this top side because there's only one piece left. So the actual sleeve, inner plastic sleeve here on the top side, just clicks in place. So we're just going to get our nails in between that side and that side, and once these little catches here on either side are out, it just comes up and out. And then on this side here is obviously the inside of the top slide is the front sight. Just notice the orientation there. Obviously that points that way, and there's a small recess there which goes over that. Okay, we'll cover that later on reassembly, and then you can place the top side to the side because that is now empty. So we're just going to remove this screw return spring here. Just make a point of the front of it, the small smaller end here on the spring, different sized ends, so you can see the orientation there, how it's facing forward towards the front of the actual cylinder. Okay, so when doing reassembly, that's the way around it's going to go. Okay, so we'll put that to the side. So the actual cylinder here just lifts out, okay, but just for the reassembly purposes. So there's a guide there, that goes on that rail, that goes in that guide, and then this notch here goes in the gap where the return spring would go. So I like to come in an angle like that, get it just behind that little notch there, and then all you've got to do is then line up the guides into their holes, and back it goes. Okay, so we'll remove that. Let's get out of the way. So the leftover parts are the actual cup there, or piston head, whatever people want to call it. And then we've actually got the actual mount screw itself, so we'll just wind that out. That's Phillips. Then this part here is described as piston parts in the manual, but I like to call it a smoother because it's plastic, so lower friction, it goes inside the actual cylinder. So I'm going to remove this smoother part. Which is a Phillips screw. Place that to the side, and then the blowback unit or piston housing is got a side on it, so that's a Phillips screw. And then we'll take off the other side. There you go, that's all that's left of the blowback unit chassis, or piston, however you want to call it. And then the last part is the actual cylinder itself. So we've got one screw here, again very, very small for this one, so the same screwdriver you would have used for the small part on the top slide. Just put your finger underneath this, because you don't want it to ping out and lose the parts. Okay. And then we're going to remove the actual valve stopper, which is this part here, and then the valve. Notice the orientation that's coming out, so pointy end is facing the stopper. Okay, and then the valve spring. Place them over there. Move the cylinder to the side. Okay, that is the disassembly of the FN5-7 gas blowback pistol top slide. Thank you for watching.